Good morning, Amir. How are you? Good morning, Nakaya. I'm just going to finish chewing this breakfast bar thing. Good morning, Fabian. Amir says, I'm okay. How about you? How am I? I don't know. I slept really weird yesterday, so I feel like really weird today. I don't know if you've ever done this, but I fell asleep by accident at like 4 p.m. and then I woke up at like midnight, just like wide awake. And it was hard to go back to sleep. I don't know if any of you have done that, but yeah. How are Nikaya and Phoebe, and how are you guys doing? Let me just get up our doc for today's class. Bear with me. In the meantime, you guys can open up your summit. Go to English for Poetry Professor. And I will meet you there. Let me just get up. English for. Checkpoint 1. Close annotations. Okay. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear you. Good, Nikaya. Yeah, we all have to kind of like keep surviving these times. It's getting like, I feel like with the snow, it's a little bit harder to like go outside and everything. So I'm personally waiting for spring to come when it gets a little bit warmer and we could all just like, you know, be at a park or something. I think that's better for mental health. Okay. So today is Thursday. We're in English for Poetry Professor. And I just have a little question to start the time off with while people like come through. If you could eat dinner with someone you didn't know, famous, living, or dead, who would it be and where would you take them? If you could take anybody out to dinner and like talk to them. It could be somebody famous, somebody, basically anybody. You could type it in the chat. And I put mine in the chat. Does anybody else want to share one of theirs? Nobody in the chat? Okay, if no one wants to share, then we'll go to some of the announcements. Good morning to who is iPhone? Who came in with iPhone? You can say your name or put it in the chat. Amira, hi. Amira, do I have you this period?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know I had you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me get up my attendance sheet.
This is English 4, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think because maybe you weren't in last class, so I didn't see you. Yes, cool, I have you. I'm gonna take attendance. So Amir is here, Fabian, Nikaya, and Amir. Okay, and I'll keep this up for people who come in. All right, so we just are gonna start with a few announcements. So reminder that progress report number 1 is due tomorrow at 3 p.m. So that means that for every class, you need to have your first checkpoint or first assignment in by tomorrow at 3 p.m. Report card night is tonight at 5:30. You all should have gotten a Zoom link in your email, and that's where you could come with your parents or with yourself to find out your report card grades from last term. And I think Miss Shamika and Miss Shantae will be there for credit questions also. So if you're curious, that is tonight at 5:30. Sorry, I just got an email on my thing. Okay. And then the next thing is there is a Zoom meeting today at 2 p.m. And this is one that I'm offering for extra credit on one assignment or a pass on one of the checkpoints or a pass on a checkpoint. And basically what you would be doing is coming to the Zoom meeting today at 2. It's going to last like maybe a half hour or however long you could stay. And we're working with a student from Yale who is creating a course for us, an English course on school integration and school equality. So that's basically like, why do some schools have sports teams and other schools don't? And like how to get more money and funding into different schools. And this person just wanted to hear from you guys on what you would like to learn or would like to do in that class. So would anybody be interested in coming to that at 2 today? You could put it in the link if you're interested. And in return, you get extra credit on one assignment or a pass on a checkpoint. So just think about it. It's at 2 p.m. and I'll email you the Zoom link. You don't have to say much. It's just more like, what would you like to see in a course like this? Okay. So English 4, here are the materials you're going to need for today's class. So if everybody could pull up checkpoint 1, Funeral Blues Annotation Guide, and I'm going to meet you there. You guys are quiet, but I know by third period, you are running on fumes. So try to participate the best you can today, because a reminder that the class moves forward with both my input and also with your input. So go to checkpoint 1. And this is what is going to be due by tomorrow at 3. And it looks like this. So last class, we read the poem and we talked about some of the twist aspects of poetry. And today we're going to go through it a little bit more. So just type here in the chat when you are on this checkpoint. Nikaya is here, good. Who else? Amir is here. Anybody else? Looks like this. This is the notes that we took last class. Fabian and Amir, are you guys here? Okay. So my question to people in the chat, and you could put this in the chat, if you scroll down to where it says Funeral Blues Twist Annotation Guide, what did you get up to? Like, what part of twist did you answer up to last class? So like, do you have something for tone? Do you have something for word choice? Tell me what was the furthest you answered from last class. I believe that we got all the way up to imagery, but just correct me if I'm wrong on your side. Oh yeah, Amira, sure. Did you just join? Let's see. Okay, assign all. So if you press refresh, Amira, you should now have the first one up. All right, so from what I'm seeing, we stopped. We had made the discussion and we had annotated the poems according to tone and word choice last class. So if you miss this or you don't have it because you were absent, you were not paying attention, you were like somewhere else in the class, reminder that this class period is up on YouTube. And also you can ask somebody from the class for notes. But you are responsible for the annotations for tone and going through each of the stanzas and looking at the specific word choice that is used. So stanza 1, underline the verbs. What do they all have in common? Stanza 2, why is the message she is dead written with capital letters? And just to show everybody here, a reminder of where the stanzas are. So Amira, you might want to type this on your end. So each stanza is 4 lines, and then we pressed enter. We separated the poem. So make sure that yours is separated and that you know, like, when it says stanza 3, like what is actually being talked about. Amir or Nakai, can you answer me this question? Did you guys finish the word choice section? Hello to Zamaya, Zach. Nice to see you. Nikaya didn't. Okay. Amir.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Nazir. Good morning. What about Amir? Did you finish that? Or should we do some of that today? Yeah, this is it right here. But I'm saying, do you have it on your end? Because this is my copy. Okay, so let's do word choice and imagery today because I think that's where some people, that's where we stopped last class, or that people didn't write it on their side. So since we have some newcomers in the class, would anybody like to just read this poem once through for people who haven't heard it before? Because my voice is getting kind of like scratchy and hoarse. Anybody want to read it once through? No one? Okay,
Stop
fine.
all the clocks, cut
Thank
off the
you, Tamaya.
telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy moan, silence the pianos, and with muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come.
Keep going.
Let aeroplanes circle, moaning overhead, scribbling over the sky, the message he is dead. Put crepe bows round the white necks of the public doves. Let the traffic policemen wear black cotton gloves. He was my north, my south, my east and west, my working week and Sunday rest, my noon, my midnight, my talk, my song. I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. The stars are not wanted now. Put out everyone, pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good.
Thank you, Zach.
You're welcome.
So this is obviously a poem about grief and death of somebody close to this author. It's called Funeral Blues. So we talked last class about how each poem that we're going to read is going to fit into this twist model, right? So the T stands for tone. How does the speaker feel about the funeral, right? W stands for word choice. If you scroll down with me, you'll see this. How do the words, the specific words, affect the meaning of the poem? I
Miss,
stands for,
I remember doing this.
remember that, Zach?
Yeah, I did this with y'all before.
One of the OGs. I think you might be the only one who did. And
Yeah, I
Fabian,
remember
you
this
and Fabian,
poem.
you and Fabian are the OGs.
Yep.
So structure is the S. It's basically the rhyme scheme or how many stanzas are in the poem and how the structure, the beginning, middle, end, how his feelings change, right? And then theme is the last T. It's the message in this poem about grief. So what we were going to do today is go through word choice all together. So the reason why this is filled out is because I do this with like three other classes have the same, we do the same thing. So I want to hear from you guys. The first question in stanza 1, underline the verbs or the action words, and what do they all have in common? So you're going to scroll up to stanza 1, which is these 4 lines, and you're going to underline all of the action words. Do that now, and then we'll talk about what they all have in common. And just to let you know what is going to be due for tomorrow, it's the whole annotation guide. So for each of the aspects of twist, you're going to answer the question. And then I think the paragraph, we're going to hold off on the paragraph until next week, because I think this is more important. And when we're online, if you notice, we run at like a slower pace. So this is what will be due tomorrow. So who wants to answer the question? What do all these verbs in the first stanza have in common? And I underline them: stop, cut off, prevent, silence. what does this author want everybody to do in the beginning of, in like when he hears that his lover had died? Reminder that this only moves forward with your input.
Can you repeat the question?
So underlining all of the verbs in the beginning. So stop, cut off, prevent, silence.
He doesn't want any noise.
Yeah. Why might
He's
somebody
like,
not want any noise when they're in the beginning of grief?
because they're still in shock. They still don't believe it. And like
Right.
people
Like,
always
don't,
normally stay like, when I say in shock, like freeze for real. Because he said stop all the clocks.
yeah, like
So if you
stop
stop the
time, right?
clocks, you're stopping time.
Definitely. And like, don't answer. I don't want to answer any texts, right? Cut off the telephone and
Yeah.
make that dog stop barking, right? Because he's in such shock that he needs silence. And if you notice, the verbs at the end bring out let and let them come, let the mourners come. So unless somebody's going to talk about this death, then they're not welcome here. So under word choice, we would put he wants all of the noise to stop because he is in the beginning of grief about a lover dying.
But do me and Fabian have to do this part, like write all that if we already did it before?
Yes.
That sucks.
You don't know where that assignment is. That was like 2 years ago.
Bet you I can find it.
If you can find it, then you can use your answers from what you have.
I just found a challenge that
Yep,
I'm
there
about
you
to find
go.
it.
I'm totally fine with that. And this, Zach, just so you know, this poem is the only one that's going to be that you've already read before. So this is just to like show the twist structure.
Okay. I kind of liked this poem anyway.
Yeah, this is a good poem. I like it too. He's at the beginning of grief, sure. All right, does everybody have this? We're moving on. Okay, in stanza 2, why do you think the message "he is dead" is written with all capital letters? I mean, this is kind of like common sense. Why does somebody write something in capitals? You could put it in the chat or you could speak.
Out of anger.
Okay. Like, what do you mean by anger?
Like, I don't know, I'm speaking from myself. Like when I text in all caps, that normally
Oh,
means I'm
that's with
mad.
all caps, right? Like every single letter.
Yeah. Or do you mean like how it says like the beginning,
No, that's fine.
the first letter?
I like
You mean
that.
like yeah.
Because it could be a few different things. It could be anger. What else might it be if just the first letters are capitalized? Somebody else other than Zach. So that we know that everybody's awake here. Why do we capitalize letters? Like for like places, names,
Titles.
titles. What is that? What is significance of that? Anybody else? Micaiah, Fabian, Amir, Amira, Nazir. Why do you write things with capital letters at the front? Okay, we write them because it's something of importance, right? It's when we capitalize something, that means it's really a big thing or an important thing. So this person was super important to to the author. And he wants to represent that with capital letters. So we have anger or importance. Okay. Stanza 3. Underline the different words and phrases the speaker used to describe his relationship to the person who died. What do they have in common? So everybody right now go to stanza 3, and if you're confused on the stanzas, please make sure that your poem is spaced out like this on your side. And I want you to underline all of the things that he compares this lover to. Do that right now. It's highlighted on my screen, but it needs to be on your copy too, because yours is the one you're turning in, right? Take a moment and highlight all or underline all of the things he compares his love to in the 3rd stanza. Take a moment and do that on your end. Okay, so what do all of these have in common? North, south, east, west, working week, Sunday rest, noon, midnight, and forever. What would you categorize these things as? And you can type this in the chat too. So we have the first sentence being directions, right? North, south, east, and west. What about the rest of the comparisons? Noon, midnight, week, Sunday. What are all of those things? Hello, we are so quiet today.
Can you repeat the question?
What can you categorize these words as, like week, noon, midnight, Sunday? We could categorize the first line as like directions. What would this be categorized as?
I forgot the word for it. I'm trying to think of the word for it.
Well, like days of the week, times of
Yeah,
day.
those are days of the week and like
I would just say
certain times of the day type of thing. Yeah.
just time in general, right? So we have directions and time in this stanza. So he's saying that this person was like, as important and as in the background kind of as time and directions. Like when you have somebody in your life who they're so important, but you might not know how important they are until they're gone. What is it? Like, you don't always know what you have till it's gone, or something like that. That's kind of what is implied by comparing him to directions in time. So we would come down to stanza 3. These are all words. And Zach, I typed you something in the chat, and you can answer me in the chat. They're all words used to describe time and direction. This could mean that this person was important. And the impact, right? The next question, what is the impact? That's the impact. So I'm gonna let you guys, well, no, we're gonna do this together. We're on stanza 4. So that's the last stanza or group of 4 lines. You're gonna underline the verbs or the action words. And what do they all have in common in stanza 4? So go scroll up, underline the verbs or the action words. And I underline them on mine, so you could copy it onto yours too. Take a minute to do that. Okay, so the verbs, some of the verbs that were here are not wanted. Ooh, crap. Not wanted, put out, pack up, dismantle, pour away, sweep up, come. So just like in the first stanza, we're having a lot of the same energy of, I don't want that, right? Get it away, pack it up, take it apart, sweep it up. This person like pushing things away due to grief. So you could scroll down here and just say, he is pushing away everything in his life. And then if we actually look at the next part, the objects that he describes in the final stanza, what do they all have in common? Like, what is he actually pushing away? Who can tell me what types of things he's pushing away in the last part? And I typed something in the chat for all of you. So if you could look at your chat bar. I highlighted the things that he's pushing away, and if somebody could just tell me like how you would categorize all of these things. Stars, moon, sun, ocean, wood. You guys are so quiet today, except for Zach, who gave some good energy in the beginning. Okay. Awesome.
For me to put my answers down, do I have to get on Summit, right?
It's on Summit, yeah. So it's on checkpoint 1. And
All
that's
right.
for everybody. That's where you're typing all of this.
Okay, I just wanted to
section
make sure
one.
because I didn't log into Summit. That's what I'm about to do now.
Cool. Okay. So these things are all natural parts of the natural world, right? They're parts of nature. They are things that he's pushing away that are, outside of himself. So he doesn't even want the stars or the moon. Like he's so deep in his grief that he can't entertain anything in the natural world. And how would you describe, like, what is somebody's mood that is like that? If you say pack up the stars, put out the sun, drain the ocean, right? Sweep up the sand. Like, I don't want to see it. What kind of mood might you be in? And think about where he's coming from, right? He just lost somebody who was like his lover, very important to him. What might his mood be as he ends the poem? Anybody? Well, it's kind of like he's ending on a really depressing, he's kind of feeling hopeless, right? He is so hopeless that he doesn't want to see of nature or the world. Okay. So for imagery, this is what you guys are going to, I hope that everybody is by their laptop. Today I've only heard from Nakaya and Zach and a little bit of Amira. So I hope that everybody is by their laptop right now. Just a reminder that all of this on Summit is due and handed in to me by tomorrow at 3. So we still have the imagery, looking at the imagery structure and theme left. So I wanted to look together at the S for structure because there are some things in here that I wanted to talk about. It says label the rhyme scheme of the poem. And how does this rhyme pattern impact the mood of the poem? And also, like, how does the tone and his mood change as the poem is going from stanza 1 to 2 to 3? And I wanted to just look at what rhyme scheme this poem is using. So go up to the top. This is for the label part. And I want everybody to do that with me. And we did this in the building. I just want to see if you guys remember. So it says stop. So it says cut off the telephone. We're going to look at the last word in each line. So telephone and bone rhyme. So remember we did this, it was like A, B, B, A and A, right?
It was A, B, B, C, C, and then it started all over.
Yes, it's A, B, B, C, C, but then it didn't start all over because doves and gloves don't rhyme with anything up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's D, D here. And you guys are labeling this on your side. And then it's E, E. Does song and wrong rhyme with anything? Nope. F, F. And then one and sun, G, G. Wood and good rhyme with anything up here? Nope. So it's HH. And so if we go down to the structure or the rhyme scheme, how does this rhyme pattern impact the mood of the poem? So when you read it with that rhyme scheme, why do you think he might have written it so that each line just rhymes with each other? Like, it's a pretty simple rhyme scheme. He doesn't repeat anything. He just goes straight through. What could that possibly say about his mood? He's not trying to do anything like fancy, right? He's just like, this word rhymes with this word. Let me keep going. What might that say about the head state that he's in? Any guesses? Doesn't have to be correct. No guesses? Okay. Well, I'm going to go with what I think it means and with what other people have thought, that having this simple rhyme scheme that doesn't really repeat, right? It just goes all the way from A to H. I would say that he's moving forward. Like, he's not really giving us too much detail in the past, right? About memories with this person or anything like that. He's just kind of like moving forward. It's a very like linear thought pattern. And I think that shows sometimes in the beginning of grief, like when you're remembering somebody, you only have capacity for so much in your mind that you're just going to keep to the most simple structure, right? You can't answer a million phone calls and emails and texts around your loss. You're just going to keep moving through as best as you can. And I think so like having a simple rhyme scheme reflects on his mood being kind of like low capacity, right? Or thinking only of his loved one who is gone. And then we're going to kind of end with this one under structure. How does the tone or his attitude, right? How does his attitude and focus shift over the course of the poem? Especially we're looking at stanza 2 and 3 between these. So how does his mood change from 2 to 3? Does anybody want to take a guess? Anybody want to take a guess? All right. Well, I definitely see some more poetic language here, right? Like putting bows around the white necks of public doves, letting the traffic policeman wear black cotton gloves. Like, he's very like romantic and poetic in this stanza. And then it's a little bit more basic in this stanza, right? I thought that love would last forever. I was wrong. Kind of what Zach said, that he's a little bit angry or frustrated that his love didn't live forever. So you would go down and put that on the tone shift for structure. So just going over what is due to me by tomorrow. It's each of the questions and annotations under tone, word choice. We did structure today. We talked a little bit about that. And then you guys tonight are going to do imagery and theme. So this is all on Summit under checkpoint 1. Now, if you scroll down, it says poetry analysis paragraph, and it says write a paragraph analyzing one of those twist aspects, right? You could choose one that you feel comfortable with. And here's a sample paragraph from another poem on word choice. But what I think we're going to do for tomorrow is only the guide, only this will be due for the progress report. Does that make sense? So you don't have to write the paragraph for tomorrow. On Monday, we'll have a little paragraph lesson, and then you'll write your paragraph on Monday. And if you join the meeting today at 2, you don't have to write the whole paragraph. I'm going to waive some of it. Do I have any other takers for the meeting at 2 today? Okay. So I'll post on announcements, just reminder of what is due. It's only the guide. So it's only the questions for the annotation guide and doing whatever it asks you to do to the poem. And then you're going to press request feedback, and I will be able to give you some feedback. This is due by tomorrow at 3 p.m. Any other questions? You guys were a little bit quiet today, which I love that you're showing up to class. Like, I love that for attendance, for your attendance. I see some people I haven't been seeing. But for next week, I would like the focus to be a little bit more on sharing.
Miss,
Yep.
is this recording getting posted to YouTube?
Yes, I'm going to post it to YouTube right after the class ends.
Okay.
Yeah, and that goes for all classes. I'm trying not to miss any of them on YouTube.
I'm only asking because I know Tuesday Miss Hicks never posted hers, so that's why I was asking, so that I could have
Okay,
just followed.
and I'm going to
his.
send a text to all teachers. Thank you for letting me know. I'm just going to send a text to our group text to just remind everybody to post to YouTube.
All right.
Okay. So if you have any issues with any of this, I'm putting my cell in the chat. A lot of you already have it, but you could text me if you have any questions. Okay. And Zach, I'm going to type you something in the chat. And everybody else can go and work on your checkpoints for tomorrow. Have a great day and stay safe.